Hey guys, welcome back to NVTV. Today we are going to be giving you some information about interviews. So today we're here with Wendy and Andrew, and they're going to be giving you some real advice on what you really should be doing when you get interviewed. So guys, how are you?
Good.
Thanks first of all for sitting down with us today.
Yeah, thank you for having us.
Let's just start off with what is your background in this industry?
I graduated from the University of Cincinnati with a bachelor's degree in organizational leadership with a focus in human resources. I had 2 internships, one here in town, one in Cincinnati. After I graduated, moved back home. I've been here at 5Bs for about 1.5 years now.
Nice. What about you, Wendy?
I graduated from Tiffin University. I have a degree in criminal justice administration, but I developed my career at a large e-commerce company that's tailored to the sports fan, and that took me into an employee coordinator role that kind of developed into an HRA role, and then eventually into an HR role in a recruiting role. And that has brought me to 5Bs, and I'm kind of part of the freshman class here at 5Bs. And but I'm a recruiting associate, and Andrew is my partner in crime as we recruit top talent.
Why is it important to be impressive in your first interview, other than the obvious? I mean, obviously you want to make a good impression,
right.
But really getting a little more granular, why is that so important?
Well, really, not just the first impression. You want to be impressive throughout the process, right? So from the first time that we talk to you on the phone, I'm judging our first phone conversation, right from the get-go, to scheduling the interview. Are you flexible? I kind of get a little irritated when people ask me to stay late after my hours if they want to schedule an interview. Then, we have operating hours, and if you're really interested in the company, you'll kind of make the time to go to that interview. So even with follow-up after the interview, do you call and check and see what your status is? Do you send a thank you letter? Did you do investigate the company at all, and know about them? We want to know about you, but we also want you to do your homework, so to speak.
Right, you want to know that they've actually taken their time to know what's going on in the business. Because I think it's a little obvious, but you don't want to hire someone that's not interested in your business.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Yeah, we want them to be vested.
Right. Sure.
Sure.
If I've never gone to a job interview before and this is my first time, and maybe I know a lot of people for this is going to be a lot of young kids, 16, 18-year-olds getting their first job. What should they expect going into the interview?
Yeah. So, now we have Indeed, ZipRecruiter, all of these online application processes you can go through. A lot of them are one-click applies, and I know that's really tempting. It's super easy. You click apply, and it's over with. But I would say do your research, like Wendy said, do your research on the company. Make sure it's a job that you are interested in interviewing for. I would say don't just apply to a job. After you apply, like Wendy said, you probably get a phone call, an email. We started texting. You might get a text message to set up. Maybe it's a phone interview. Maybe it's an in-person interview. Typically, it's going to be 30 minutes, maybe, depending on the process at the company. Here, we do second interviews, depending on the process of the company you're interviewing for. Processes are definitely different. The big thing to expect, you're going to be asked about what the company does. You're going to be asked, your strengths for the position. You're going to be asked, things like, do you have reliable transportation to get to work?
Yeah, and just because, can I interject? Just especially if you're a youth, someone coming into the job market for the first time, they won't have a job history, right? So we want to know what you're involved in. Are you involved in the community? Do you have different hobbies? Because we're looking for competencies, kind of like, are you good in a teamwork environment? Are you better suited for something that you control your own task, kind of maybe you're doing a task on your own type thing? We want to see if you had good attendance. Were you a good student? Do you have goals? things like that. So we're looking for all these things. We're looking for you to check certain boxes to see if you're a good fit for our team.
What you said about your strengths, that brings me to another question, and I know we kind of talked about this a little bit.
Yeah.
And it actually makes me think of an episode of The Office where Michael Scott gets interviewed and he talks about his weaknesses being strengths. How do you feel about that as someone who's in HR? Because there's this old advice that we hear all the time that you need to turn your weaknesses into strengths. So say things like, I just can't turn work off, and I don't know when to quit, and things like that. But it seems to me we're getting a little bit more modern, and people can see through that.
Sure.
So if somebody who's younger gets to that question, what should they really be saying? I mean, do they just really need to be honest and just say what their weakness is?
Weaknesses are okay. If it's something that you have to work on and you are working on it, say, I'm not very good at public speaking, just us talking today and doing something like this, I'm working on that skill type thing. So we want to see where you're trying to improve and advance. You don't have to be, not everyone's going to be this whole 100% picture and check every box, but we want to see, are there skills that maybe you're lacking that we can teach, or things that we can't teach, so to speak.
Yeah. There's one thing that I've always been told, and I actually wanted to ask your opinion on this, and that is I've always heard hire character over skill. What do you guys think about that?
So just to give you an example, when we interview here at 5Bs, we definitely look for culture fits. Someone that's going to fit in with the culture. We do on-the-job training at a lot of our positions have on-the-job training. So maybe it's more of we see a knack there, and maybe it's not, maybe it doesn't match perfectly, but we can see it.
Yeah, and it depends on the character trait too. If you're a goofball, you kind of are a jokey type person, we want to know that you can get serious and focus on the role and the task at hand and meet the goals that are presented for you. A lot of we're UPH based. This is fast paced. We got to churn out kind of East piece because we have businesses that we need to meet deadlines type thing. So while that can be good in a team environment, everybody gets along with you, we want to know that you can focus too on the goal.
Right, which that makes sense.
Yeah.
So it's really about, do you fit in, and can we
It's
train you the skill?
Yeah, it's a scale.
Sure.
It's kind of like a balance.
Right. What are some common mistakes that you see in interviews?
I would say not dressing appropriately for the interview.
I was afraid you were going to say that.
Yeah. So you don't have to wear a suit and tie. If it's here we have warehouse associates, we have machine operators. Maybe it's a nice pair of dark wash jeans. Maybe it's a pair of khakis and a nice shirt. You have to wear a tie. You don't have to. You're not interviewing to be the CEO of the company. We have one, right? So just dress appropriatity, I would say.
Yeah, remember first impressions are key. I have a joke with Andrew, socks and Crocs. So like my pet peeve. You got to remember that's part of what we talked about, making first impressions as well. So you're being judged while you're not only on your skill set, it's how you present yourself. And that's part of how you present yourself.
So there's an ongoing debate about education and experience and which one should weigh more when you're looking at candidates. What do you guys think about that?
Like here where we work, here at 5Bs, we have entry-level roles, production. We have a lot of people that will come into a production role that want to further their education, but they need the funding for it. So there's a well balance, just because you can't maybe afford a 4-year education, don't write yourself out of the job market. There's a lot of on-the-job training. Here we have all kinds of growth potential as we're expanding the building right now and creating opportunities. So there's going to be those on-the-job training roles. You can't get how to rethread a needle type thing. There's not that class in college, how to work a sewing machine. So, that's something that you can do on the job. And then as you acquire skills and you have those goals of maybe moving into a leadership position, you can further your education. Not everything has to be a 4-year. There's we have good resources, especially here in this area, like technical schools, adult programs, 2-year degrees. So there's all kinds of avenues for education on the job and in the system.
Right. So what's your best advice for someone who is younger going in for their first job?
Lots of people are nervous on their first time. Don't worry about it. We understand the nerves. I will ask you, especially if you don't have any job history, I'll say, hey, is this your first interview? And we'll have just a conversation just about you. What do you like? What are your hobbies? Just to calm the nerves, so to speak, a little bit. So we're very understanding as recruiters that you're coming into the job and maybe doing some interviewing for the first time. And I'll even coach a little bit. I'll tell them, you did great. Here's what you need to brush up on. So, don't be scared to go into your first interview. We're calling. We just want to know about you, and we want you to know about us to see if we're a good fit for each other.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, definitely. I would also say, go in with a good attitude. It's easy to come in and say I'm leaving this company because X, Y, and Z. Maybe just make it a little more polished. Have a good solid sentence about why you're leaving, and let's move on to the next question. I would also say be engaged during the interview. Maybe write some questions down that you come up with. Bring them in with you. That also shows you have some good organizational skills that we might be looking for in the interview process.
Yeah, absolutely. When kids come in, especially like if it's their first job or they don't have any job history, we're just trying to get to know you. And then you have assets that you don't have to have work history to have skills. You might be doing some things at home, whether that be babysitting, whether that be your 4-H, whether that be your sports minded, that'll tell us what we need to know whether you'll be a good fit. So kind of think off the books, off the charts a little bit, other than just work history when you come to sharing what you think your best skills are.
So what do you think about the economy of hiring right now?
Really, the employee has the upper hand, the people that are doing the job shopping. There's a lot of open jobs out on the market right now. Like us, we're in that growth cycle right now where we need 50-some employees. So Andrew and I have been tasked with filling those roles, and we're doing open interviews right now. We've opened it up to every Monday through Friday. We're making it as easy as we can for these people that are on the job market to come in for an interview. So every Monday through Friday, 9 to 5. If you walk in and are looking for a job, Andrew and I will interview you on the spot.
Absolutely.
Right, and I'm glad you say that, because there are some people that, and this is maybe not even centered on our youth, but there are some people that, they might not be able to afford nicer clothes to go to a job interview. And there are sources out there that can help you with that. So I think it's good that you're saying that, because maybe if there's somebody out there who has been looking for a job, there are resources out there that can help them get, the apparel and the skills to come in, and then they can come see you when you're open and come talk to you and get a job.
Yeah, like one of our best avenues is probably the Ohio Means Jobs in every county. They have certain programs, to assist the person on the job market, from things like you discussed, like getting clothes, getting transportation, gas cards, yeah, across the market. Any other?
No, yeah. Just to piggyback off of Ohio Means Jobs, we do work with them, and they do have good programs. So if you're looking, you don't have resources, definitely get in contact with your Ohio Means Jobs, your local.
Yeah, they'll do everything from help you to set up your resume to getting it submitted to the company that you're interested in. But like we kind of touched base before, one of our pet peeves, Andrew and I, is when a person writes they're open for any role. We want you to do a little more homework than that and kind of look at the roles that we have available and see what you think you're a good fit for.
Well, thanks you guys for sitting down with us today. Hopefully you guys can take something from the video. If you have other questions about interviewing and what to expect and what that whole process is like, as always, drop us a comment below, send us a message. We'll get back with you guys, the experts, and get you guys an answer. So we hope to hear from you soon. We'll see you guys next week.